Where do we currently find ourselves? How would you describe the sort of setting that we're in?
It's vaguely based off the idea of like a 1970s living room. I just wanted to try and build one on the stage and see if that was possible.
Like it's kind of very cosy, very inviting, I think.
Which I don't find stages to be.
Oh, no, I suppose so. I never thought that was.
So what was the impetus for the idea? How do you see this kind of stage production that we're on relating to the music and what you want to say as a group?
I think over the sort of dying months of like the COVID pandemic, I was finding myself listening to a lot of like music from the 70s and really taking in like a lot of like culture and watching films from that sort of decade and stuff. And then I just got interested in like the idea of maybe like trying to find out how that decade linked to now, and then see if we could like, because a lot of the music from that decade like influenced a lot of our sound. I thought, why don't we try and make that a more full sort of idea to bring like to a live show?
What did you see the link being then, when you said that you were kind of looking to try and establish it between the two decades? What is that for you then?
I think a lot of things happened then, and a lot of records were released then that have been very influential on like recent events, and it feels like, so I made a sort of like short film to go along with this stage show, and I called it "It's a Race to the Bottom," because I felt like we are now approaching the bottom, and that was the start of the race to the bottom, if that makes any sense.
In terms of the way that kind of society is heading and the degradation that's occurred over the last like 50 or so years.
Yeah, definitely. Like, not to be like too political about it, but like definitely.
You know you want to.
Yeah, I really.
You know you want to go on.
But like the rise of like neoliberalism and stuff, and we're really seeing a lot of like the issues that come from that coming ahead right now.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because that was kind of seen as a response to the Thatcherism and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And it's ended up causing just as many problems.
Yeah, it's just got worse.
See, like New Labour with Iraq and stuff. It's just
like even that, like a lot of the film is centred around the election of Thatcher and the use of like wars such as the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Like that was the late 70s, and we have literally just this year decided we were going to leave and pull out. So I felt like there was a really strong link from that, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, so far we've kind of spoken about the political side to this set. The thing about it too is that there is an element of theatricality about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where exactly do you see that in the music itself?
It kind of matches like maybe flamboyant the music is.
Yeah, I think
when you're a band that kind of wears your influences as much as like on your sleeve as we do, it's always good to show it, I suppose, in a more visual sense than just through the music.
definitely like a lot of the acts that we love were a lot more theatrical, and a stage show wasn't just turning up and turning on your amps and playing.
Yeah.
I think like you can take it further than that, and I think that's what we want to do as well.
At what point did that vision kind of establish itself? Like, is there certain things that you kind of have to achieve first in terms of what you want to do musically before you start to look at this broader picture?
Well, a lot of the songs that I was writing sort of, again, like towards the end of the pandemic were influenced by a lot of like late disco type music. And as I was writing those songs, like it just became an idea that like, why don't we for our first headline back, like try and take it to that next level that like I don't see a lot of other people doing.
If you've been through such like a visceral period of history and you come out the end of it with nothing to show, then it seems
it feels like a failure. Yeah.
So to take the things that you've been invested in during this period and once we're back, use it. It seems like
I feel like it kind of matured us as a band a lot. Like it's kind of like, all right, let's really get our shit together. I feel like it showed, because I think about that first show we did back, and then the couple shows did before that, and it was like, oh, that's like a more mature kind of full kind of sound, you know. It's like, and I feel like the kind of ages and ages of downtime is part of that, because I think everything sort of came to the surface. It's like, oh, makes you actually think about things when you're not busy planning this show. What was actually good or negative about previous work, you know.
Gives you space to reflect.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
But I mean, is that something the music in and of itself can offer too?
What a space to reflect.
Yeah.
It definitely. I find that like music and the stage and the ability to like this is the place where I feel probably most safe to like express myself fully. Like the fact that people are coming and like can connect with like what we create, like that is a safe space where everyone is sort of in a sense of like self-reflection and like connection.
Do you ever see it being confessional too?
What music?
The music that you write, yeah.
Absolutely. It's definitely confessional. You can be very honest with yourself and you can be very honest with others, and like places you might have went wrong, things you may want to change about yourself. Like it gives you a medium that's not your life to like express that, which I think is interesting.
What's something you think that you've confessed in your music before you had confessed it in life?
Good question.
That's a great question. I don't know. I think there's like flaws that you can find in yourself that I might not want to be so on the nose like talking about, but like when you can put like words into stanzas and like dress them up slightly, like you can find a way of putting your own honesty in that, and you don't need to be necessarily saying exactly what happened to someone. Like they can interpret it themselves and it can relate to whatever they're going through, but also like there's a flip side to that where you can like reflect and find things that you might actually like love about yourself, and you might actually like find a sense of your actual identity and yourself through what this is, I think.
I'm trying to write a song about my offshore bank accounts. So that as well.
When we get in a song on the taxi situation in Glasgow?
Well,
It's in if
yeah, it's
if
in
it's
the
in
works.
such high demand, I'll think about it. Because the taxi situation is
It's terrible.
it's bad. You've got a tough war at the minute between Hampden and private hire.
Giant line outside Circle Street you wait ages on, and it's like,
And that's all because of Thatcher, so.
yeah.
When-
I feel sad. Just remember she's dead.
She is.
It's interesting you mentioned music there, you know, being a way to find these different sides to your identity. How much of a role do you think music itself has played in kind of forging your own identity and shaping who you are today, creating music?
Well, I always find it interesting when people can say that they can like separate themselves from like being an artist and being in a band and stuff, because I don't find that that's like massively possible. I feel like because we are trying to be very honest and I trying to be as like honest and authentic as possible, I can't find the separation. I can't switch off from this. Like this is intrinsically tied to who I am and what I've always wanted to do, I think. Yeah, I've never been able to try and switch it off.
And for yourselves?
Yeah, it's always.
What
yeah.
he said, pretty much.
Yeah, I've always found like just all
tuning it
music
out,
I
I don't
like
know what he said.
is kind of. I find that to be very like motivating. You know, like I watch a lot of bands live performances and stuff. The bands I like in really matter, and I think, oh, like whilst I really love it, it doesn't seem out of reach for us not to do it. You
Yeah,
know, I don't
I know what you
really.
mean.
It's like I think it was maybe very different in like the '70s, like we were just talking like because like bands like Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, it was all seen as like pure gods and like, oh, you know, you never achieve that. But I think a lot of more recent bands that
It feels closer.
it feels closer. Oh yeah, we could actually do that, but at the same
Yeah.
time, we still feel like, oh yeah, that's a really good band, but it's not out of our reach. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
No, cheers. Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.